All right. Next question comes to us from Jenna Frey. She says, even though it's expected to be temporary, there seems to be a lot of restrictions and added obstacles in place to visit Disney World right now. Do you think it's worth trying to plan a trip? So, something that we've spoken about now that Walt Disney World is officially coming back July the 11th for Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, and then July the 15th, bringing back online Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, is even with that, there are so many unknowns, right? There's so much to still consider about the whole experience that hasn't even been defined yet by Disney. And so, if you're asking us right now, is it worth it? Do you feel that this is something that's worth planning a trip around? I'll tell you from my perspective, guys, and I think I've said this before, just knowing going into this that so much was going to be restricted and there were going to be obstacles put in place and that things were going to be potentially either eliminated or diminished in terms of what you can do. I've always stood the ground of probably not until things get back to normal or more sort of a sense of normalcy in terms of I can do everything that I want to do because I'm still paying the same price. That's my choice, right? I want to do that. I want to wait. I want to say down the line when things come back online, I'll go ahead and plunk my money down and make that visit. I think I've mentioned before, I had a May visit planned. That got canceled, right? And then I had a June visit planned. Obviously, that's not happening. So at this point, I do have an August trip that was planned. And that one I might still need to do for the sake of Mickey's not so scary Halloween party. So we'll see what happens there. But we'll jump on over to you, Tyler. Is this a time that you would consider planning a trip? I mean, they're asking for our perspective on it. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're planning on doing it this summer, I would say no personally, but we do have a trip planned for like Thanksgiving time. So uh, I would plan a trip if it's further out. But for me personally, right now, I don't want to go there until at least see what's going on for a few months.
What do you think, Katrina?
Well, I mean, if you're a first timer and you want to go on your Disney World trip, I would say hold off until everything's back to normal. If you've been to Disney World multiple times and you already have experienced the usual things, parades, fireworks, and stuff, and you just want to get back to Disney just to feel like a sense of normalcy and to feel that, partial Disney magic again, and just walk down Main Street and just appreciate all these beautiful buildings in the castle, then I would say, yeah, start planning it for like a further out date, like for the Christmas time or maybe even the following year in 2021 in January, February, March, whatever. But have your expectations set to where you're not going to be able to see fireworks. So if that's like your main priority, you want to see fireworks, you want to see the parade, you want to see your kids with the characters, then I wouldn't do it.
Right, all those things you're missing out on because Disney has eliminated them in the short term. They say temporarily, of course. That's a big part of what that Disney experience is. Those fireworks, those parades, meeting those characters, all things I have to table for the time being due to the coronavirus and everything that you have to deal with on that front. Tyler, you have something to add?
I have a quick question, actually. Do you guys think we're ever going to see Epcot Forever again? Do you think that show is gone now?
I mean, maybe it's going
Please
to be
let it be
around
gone.
forever.
I don't ever want to see it again.
No, really? Is that horrible for you?
A whole new world? What?
I didn't think it was that great, but it was better than nothing.
It's terrible.
Better than nothing, but
I'd rather have nothing.
I am curious if we've seen the last of that show. Like, will it just come back being the new Epcot show, or we shall see?
Yeah, I would imagine that we'll probably maybe come Christmas time because Christmas tends to play to huge crowds and maybe we'll be in a different place in terms of health at that point. And I mean, who knows? But I just can't see fireworks even returning until 2021. I can't see big spectacles like that, especially getting people just all together in a group for any capacity. If they can go as long as they can without doing that and encouraging people to all congregate, I'm sure that that's what they want. So at any rate, let's check in with Garrett. Would you plan a trip right now from your perspective, knowing everything that you know?
So again, my situation is different than most people in the nation. So to that, I would say it depends on a certain demographic. If you are an annual pass holder, such as myself, or if you are a a local to Florida and the surrounding states, then I would say that a trip might be more worthwhile. But if you're in the case of, say, you guys who live out in California or even in the Midwest, it might not be very fruitful to do that just because you're spending more money to travel and then you don't get to experience everything like we've been saying countless times. However, if you are DVC or Club 33 and you have a little bit more invested into Disney, then I would say you want to get your investment. So for example, my girlfriend Ariel, her family is part of DVC, and even though the parks will not be fully operational, they want to go and experience their DVC because for those that do not know Disney Vacation Club, it's a timeshare and you put money down like any normal timeshare. And Ariel's family, they've put down this money, so they want to get that investment, even if it is just hanging at the resort and walking around and just maybe sightseeing a little bit. It's still better than doing nothing because you want to get that return on investment. So for me, if I was living in Florida and I had the money and time to kill, I would do a trip. But if it's your once in a lifetime opportunity to go to Disney, do not do it. Save your money so that way you can experience something more. Because if you don't do the trip now, you can save up more money, which allows you to stay at an even nicer resort or use it to buy even more memorabilia and just experience more. So if you can hold off. That is my recommendation from the Simply Duckling.
Thank you for that. Producer Kurt, as somebody who takes your sort of annual trip out to Walt Disney World, what would you tell this questioner?
Well, for me, the big thing is the masks. Florida and masks. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend waiting until at least the restriction, either until winter time for that like 1 weekend or so, or for when the masks are gone. Because
that 1 weekend.
Yeah, that 1 weekend of winter that they get over there. But it's just not worth it currently, like this very second, for me to want to plan a trip. I'm still planning a trip next year for the 50th. I'm still planning on doing that, and I'm hoping that will be good. But for as of right now, I would say hold off.
Listen to that. So no's across the board from everybody. Hold off, and wait for some sort of. And I would say, I think even more so, and we've touched on it a little bit here, but I mean, just consider, even with these new restrictions, waiting until after summer and the heat of what Florida goes through. Just wait until that passes. As Kurt said, the 1 weekend where maybe, it might be cool. But wait until those cooler temps, period, just because I can only imagine the overheating that's going to happen with people that are having to wear masks in this summer environment, walking around these parks, and it's hot and muggy and gross in a normal summer day. And now you add a mask to it. That's going to be pretty unbearable if you're there trying to enjoy yourself. So from our perspective, there's your answer. We thank you so much for sending in your question.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.